before we go any further with this lesson, we have to understand when it comes to the letter Chet and what we've spoken about so far is really the representation of Hashem and His light. And you're saying, I want to connect to God at a very basic level, at a very high level, whatever level that is. Rabbeinu Zal has told us that the only way that you're going to be able to get that is if you make yourself like noon, which means that you make yourself humble, that you allow the light to reflect on you like the moon. The moon is something that completely reflects the sun and is nothing of itself. It has absolutely nothing, no material, no input, no wisdom of its own. And any part of the moon that says, yeah, I have my own wisdom, I have my own desires, I have my own feelings towards certain things, well, now you can't makabel. Now you cannot accept the light that the sun is trying to give you. Again, the sun representing Hashem, representing the Tzaddik Emet, representing the leader, representing Moshe Rabbeinu, someone greater than you that you need to reflect on and be able to get this life from. So we can't go any further than that because everyone here might be saying, well, look, I really just want to connect to God. How do I do that? So there's a lot of secrets here. So let's get into that. So let's recap on being a moon. If you're going to go ahead and be a moon, you need to learn to nullify yourself, especially religiously. Meaning what? I'll say what I mean when I say religiously. Let's say you learn a little piece of Zohar or you learn a little piece of anything. You learn a good Gemara. You learn a blot Gemara. You learn it inside. You learn it very well. So very good, Baruch Hashem. You can hold on to that information and say, yeah, I know it well, and this is what I know, and this is the way I perceive it. And but you know what? All parts of the Torah are endless. They're Ein Sof. God is endless in every part of the Torah. So if you want God to really shine on you, light from all aspects, again, like we mentioned earlier, you should be able to learn Isser Ve'Heter. You should be able to learn what's forbidden and not forbidden in these laws in Halakha and Shulchan Aruch, and you should be able to see Shalom Bayit. You should be able to see why your car broke down. You should be able to see how you should be able to eat, etc. And you're like, well, I don't see the Musar. I don't see my life reflecting it. No, then you're not looking enough because you're not allowing God's light to shine into you. You're becoming more of a dark-covered moon because you want to hold on to the little bit that you've learned. Every time you learn, you need to completely divest yourself of what you already previously knew and say, okay, I'm like a new fresh plate. Let's open up this Gemara again and let's see what Hashem's going to show me. And when you trust in Hashem and you let go of the Torah you already know or the wisdom you think you know, or in any case, whatever wisdom you think you know, you grew up in school and you say, well, I have this degree, so I'm very smart in this university degree, and this is the way it needs to be. No, wisdom, everything in this world is endless. There's so many parables you can make from anything, from any event that's happening. That's why Rabbeinu was telling you, look into the sekel in all things, and you will be able to see Hashem in so many different ways. Everyone can look at a tree and see it in 1,000 different ways, what a tree means to them and how a tree speaks to them. Sorry. Whether one sees a tree as a foundation. One says, look at a tree. Look how big it is. But the only reason it stands up is because of its roots and its foundation. So that person says, look, I know I need to build a strong foundation to be a big tree. Another person takes a tree and says, oh wow, look at the beautiful colors and the fruits that are growing on there. And we see that the fruits are the most important part of the tree, the end aspect. And I want to have good fruits. I want to have good midot, etc. Everyone can see something in a different way. That's what Rabbeinu was trying to tell you. You need to learn to see God in all the events that go through you. You need to step back from what you know or what you think you perceive at that moment and be able to look deep into the sugya, into the part of the whatever you're going through at that moment. This is actually one of the reasons we get mad. We see first things at face value. Someone cut me off. Oh, this guy, you cut me off. What's going on with you? I need to get to work. And that's all you see. But really, maybe the person's carrying someone who's very sick, and that person needs to rush to the hospital. And if you knew that, you would definitely let them go. If that person was a relative or a friend, you wouldn't have honked. You would have said, "Hey, how are you? How's your day? Have a great day." You would have been smiling and said, "Hey, that's my Rebbe. Hey, that's my best friend. Hey, that's my mother." You would have been happy to see that person. But because it's somebody else, right away your reaction is, it's about me. No, you have to think, if you just think a little bit, especially in this time when we're so low in this generation. Rabbeinu is giving you amazing advice. If you just think a little bit, you can you can at least begin to see the godliness in all things. And I said especially in religion, because I guess when you get in religion, you think you start to know things, We always say you better learn so you can learn you don't know. That's the real learning. Learn that you don't know. As I mentioned before, Rabbeinu's greatest Torah, and I can't emphasize this enough. Rabbeinu Zal's greatest Torah is when he said, I don't know. And that is a lot to think about right there. I want to bring out something about Yehoshua ben Nun that I learned in Shir Shirim Rabbah. It's in 220. And it's in the Midrash Rabbah if you want to see it. What happens here? Why is Yehoshua called Yehoshua ben Nun? We know that Nun is his father. So who is Nun? Asked the Midrash Rabbah. And really the Midrash Rabbah asks, why is Moshe Rabbeinu only giving Yehoshua a blessing to protect him and not Kelev? Remember, we have Yehoshua and Kelev. They are the two leaders of 2 of the 12 tribes, while the other 10 tribes were the 10 spies that said, no, we're scared to enter the land, and because our enemies are greater than us. Okay, I don't want to get into that so much in Parsha Shalach, but what we're trying to say here is, why is Yehoshua called Nun, and who is Nun? So let's learn something great about Yehoshua, which I just learned recently. I thought it was amazing. Moshe Rabbeinu decided to bless Yehoshua because Nun, his father, was from the tribe of Ephraim. And he was a leader in the tribe of Ephraim who actually led the tribe of Ephraim out of Mitzrayim early. He decided to go against the time. We know that there was a 400-year time period that Am Yisrael had to be inside Mitzrayim, and they wanted to push the time. They wanted to leave early. It's like, it's our time to go. We have to go, and we're going to go by force. Again, force is an Esav mentality, an Esav aspect, and not thinking deeply into why Hashem put you in Galut to begin with. Let's leave Galut early. No, we don't leave Galut early, because if God put us in Galut, He put us in, how do you say Galut? He put us in exile. If He put us in exile, there's a reason He put us in exile. When a parent puts his kids into timeout, there's a reason He put you in timeout, and it's good for you. However, the tribe of Ephraim, led by Nun, wanted to say, no, we need to leave now, we need to leave early, and we need to get to the land. And we know what happened to them. We know that they got destroyed. They got killed along the way. And so that was an example of not pushing against the time, not thinking for yourself, thinking, well, maybe Hashem has a greater plan than what I already see. And so why? So now you'll understand that Yehoshua is his son. And Yehoshua is very much guaranteed to be exactly like his father. And guess what? Yehoshua is now becoming this new leader. Yehoshua is going to be the leader of Am Yisrael. And instead of trusting in God, instead of relying on Hashem and his master Moshe Rabbeinu, Yehoshua has already in him, he already has, it's innate in him, a tendency to think, no, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to do it by force. Let's give an example. Imagine the time that he's around Jericho, and he's walking around blowing a shofar and making hakafot. He's making 7 circles around them on Shabbat. Can you imagine? How am I supposed to, if he thought like logically, like, how am I supposed to defeat a huge, giant, amazing people with a great wall by blowing a horn and walking in circles on Shabbat? I'm breaking Shabbat, and this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to tear down the walls of Jericho. This is how I'm going to beat that massive Canaanite nations that 10 of my brothers who were leaders, huge leaders, were scared of. If he thought logically, if he fought like his father, he would have easily gone to war with physical strength, and he would have lost. Because the only reason we got Am Yisrael, the only reason we got the land at that point, in that time, and why we were Matzliach, why we were successful, is because we trusted in Hashem. If Hashem told us to eat grapes and sit and watch the land, and the land will destroy itself, you have to believe with your full heart in the Chacham. You need to believe in the Chet. You need to become a Nun or a Moon. And deny your wisdom. Deny what you think you know will work in your plans and your desires, and say, you know what? God said to sit in the grass and eat grapes, and he'll destroy our enemies. Guess what? I trust and have faith in God. Now, faith is a weak word. I should say emunah. What does it mean to have emunah in God? Well, emunah means I agree 100% with whatever he said, or I agree 100% with whatever the Talmud, the tzaddik or the leader or what Moshe said. Why? Because I've already seen how successful he's been. He's already proven to me his truth, his greatness. So therefore now I'm going to have full faith in God. I'm going to have full faith in my leader, and I'm not going to use my own wisdom. That's what a moon is. I'm not going to shine my own light. I'm going to now allow the one that I trust. I'm going to trust in God. He told me to keep Shabbat. I'm going to keep Shabbat. He told me that I shouldn't light a fire on Shabbat. I'm not going to light a fire on Shabbat. I don't know why. What does it matter if I light my phone on Shabbat? What does it matter if I turn on the light or not? Does God really care? I hear so many people say, does God really care if I turn the light off on Shabbat? Does God really care if I rip toilet paper on Shabbat? Does God really care if I eat kosher or not? Come on, I eat chicken at McDonald's and I eat chicken that's kosher. What's the difference? The thing is not, God doesn't really care per se about the activity itself. God could have said that you need to eat wood. God could have said that kosher laws include that you need to make the chicken dance 5 times before you kill it. God could have said whatever he wanted. It isn't that point, even though there is the mechanics behind it. But in reality, the main point that I want to get at is God was trying to tell us, I'm telling you what to do. I want to see if you're going to do it. Like Avram Avinu. I told you, Avram Avinu, that I want you to preach, stop killing children. Stop sacrificing children to your gods and false gods. You don't need to do that. And then all of a sudden, the biggest test of Avram Avinu is, go kill your own son and go sacrifice him. Everything that you've worked for your entire life, now I want you to go against it. Wow. How could you tell me to do that? You're totally going against your own law that you've been telling me to preach this whole time. My whole essence, Avram says, is now going to go down the drain. It doesn't matter. Whatever God says at whatever point it is, that needs to be done at that time. I'll give you one more example of what it means to have full faith in the Chachamim. When Shaul decided that he didn't want to kill Amalek. He didn't want to shech Agag, King Agag being from Amalek. And he had his reasons, and he was persuaded by the people to keep some of the flocks of Agag. And all of a sudden you have this beautiful Navi, you might say he's really holy, and he rebukes Shaul, why didn't you listen to me? And later on, after rebuking him, Shmuel HaNavi himself actually shechs and cuts off the head of Agag. You're like, whoa. When did we become head choppers? When did the Navi of Israel, the most humblest man, become a head chopper? It doesn't matter. Humility means not being just meek all the time and being sad and being oppressed. Meek means I'm going to listen to my master. And for Shmuel, his master was God. And God said to kill Agag, so there's no question. I'm going to kill him now. Murder, kill him, whatever you want to say at that point. It pretty much was murder because God told him to. But is because God said that's what needs to be done at this moment. And if God says today, I need you to sit down and fast, so I believe in it. I believe what Hashem told me, and Hashem told me to do certain things. I don't have to know. I don't have to understand. And I better not get my own big brain involved, because that's what's going to push the light of God away. So if you're asking yourself why I cannot see the light of God, why God's not in my life, Rabbeinu Zal is telling you is because you put yourself in the way. You put your wisdom first before having emunah, faith in God, having full trust and absolutely agreeing with what the tzaddik says, with what the leader says. What Moshe Rabbeinu was trying to tell Yehoshua and praying for him. He's saying, listen to me. Make sure you don't rely on yourself. If you begin to rely on yourself, you will fall. Okay, I hope that was a wonderful little explanation about what it means to be a noon, what it means to be a moon, what it means to be humble, and how you'll be able to accept the light of God and begin to see the light and miracles of God in your life. Thank you.